economy, and we just want to take a look at the fiscal performance of Kenya's economy in this current financial year, taking a keen interest in our public debt profile. So these are the figures latest from the National Treasury, where, as you can see, our public debt currently stands at 10.6 trillion Kenya shillings. It's proper to note that Kenya paid 1.6 trillion in the 2023-2024 financial year to service debt, taking up at least 68% of the revenue. What does this mean? In every 100 shillings, roughly 68 shillings goes to servicing debt. Remember that 260 billion shilling Eurobond that matured mid-year 2024? It was a significant driver in the surge of external debt payments. So a lot to encompass right there. It's also proper to note that our foreign reserves are approximately hitting 10 billion currently for the first time after Kenya issued a new $1.5 billion Eurobond. Hence the reason perhaps contributing to why the shilling is performing well against the dollar. Taking a look at external debt, where our numbers are currently at 48.8%, that translates to 5.17 trillion, and our domestic debt translates to 5.4 trillion, that's roughly 51.2%. So domestic debt is higher than the external debt, and it's proper to note that external debt is largely owed to multilateral creditors on concessional terms, with World Bank, the Africa Development Bank, China and Eurobond holders being the leading creditors to Kenya. Remember, the increased demand for foreign credit is due to the fact that domestic borrowing sort of squeezes the private sector's access to financing. We equally have our public debt as a percentage of GDP rather, which is at 65.5%. And remember, this is way above the approved debt anchor of 55% of debt to GDP. Those are the figures we're currently working with in terms of Kenya's debt or public debt profile. Let's take a look at the debt vulnerability evolution. Until June 2014, our debt to risk distress was quite low. It was upgraded in September 2018 to moderate, and then upgraded thereafter in April 2020 to high risk of distress. According to IMF, Kenya's debt remains sustainable with high risk of debt distress, and this was actually contributed to with the global COVID-19 pandemic crisis, which exacerbated existing vulnerabilities. Kenya's external and public debt vulnerabilities also reflect the high deficits of the past and include a decline in tax revenues as a share of GDP in recent years. That's the latest. Remember, we'll be having a conversation on the state of the economy at exactly 10 p.m. Do stay tuned for that and much more.